What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here, Box to Box Football, joined by Mikey this time too. So what's up, Mikey? How's it going?
Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. We've got Mikey in for the big hitting videos, obviously. Premier League right around the corner. First match, guys, is the 5th of August. And obviously this can't be underestimated at all. The World Cup has thrown a lot of things up, including what's going to be a golden boot race that's going to be one to watch, I think, this year. Some of the contenders, even just looking at the names, not even getting into the details of it, Erling Haaland is now put his name in the hat for that. Cristiano Ronaldo is still knocking around. There's a guy called Mo Salah, who's still there. Reigning champion Son Heung-min is there. Harry Kane's won it before. So, guys, there are some names here who we can get touching on. And yeah, you've seen the title of the video. Who do we think is going to be the Premier League top scorer this year? So first of all, I guess we'll kind of do it. We'll state our case. We'll state a name. We'll give our reasoning, and then obviously we can open up the conversation. I just want to drop a couple wild cards in, maybe at the end, see if there's any chance there as well. But Mikey, I guess you're more of a guest. I'll let you take it away first. Who do you think is going to be Premier League top scorer? And also, if you give us a couple reasons why as well.
I think it's so hard not to look past Son Heung-min again. I think the way that he flourished, under Antonio Conte, with Harry Kane getting back to his best as well, and Kulusevski are now adding another dimension to that attack. And now with the addition of Richarlison, I think, like I said to James, I think a bit earlier, I think Tottenham have got the best attack in the Premier League. And I don't see him not scoring any less than 20 goals. I think Harry Kane gives him so many opportunities. And the biggest problem with Son is he goes on those 6-game runs and then he goes very quiet. But if we look at the end to the last season, I think there was about 4 or 5 months where he was just scoring. And I feel like Conte's brought out a consistency in his game now, which even if he doesn't play well, he'll score. Or he'll get in front of goal and he'll get an assist, he'll get a goal. And I just don't think, I feel like he'll have that Mo Salah type of season where he just doesn't stop scoring. And
just quickly, Spurs to me have the best attack in the league. They do. I think, if you're just basing it across on average quality across the league, I think that all 4 of those guys are game changers in their own right, and especially depending on the day that you catch them. To me, though, when your attack is that strong on average, the goals have surely got to be spread. And that's my one thing. If I'm a betting man, which I am, I wouldn't put my money, I don't think, on Son, because I think Richarlison's going to get his, Kulusevski's going to get his, Kane's going to get his. You look at a team like Man City, there's a name that sticks out, right? And you look at some other team, like with James, I'm sure we might talk about a man from Arsenal here maybe at some point, but there's a name that sticks out when you think who might be the top scorer. Whereas for Spurs, I do look at it, and as much as I think it's a great shout with Son, I can't look past Kane and not think that Kane's got a shot at beating Son, let alone being top goal scorer. Do you know what I mean?
my biggest thing. Yeah, go on, James.
My biggest thing when I look at Tottenham is that if someone asks me who's going to be Tottenham's top goal scorer, I think without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to be Son. I feel like with Kane to a certain point is that all these attacking talent, they need to be fed. They need to be given opportunities. And Kane, to me, is that guy that's going to create them opportunities. My only problem with Tottenham is that you get these barren games and these barren spells where they might have 0 shots on target, for 2-3 games, and you're asking yourself, you'll pop a bet on Harry Kane to have a shot on target, and he just won't, or Son to have a shot on target, and he just won't. And that's for the betting people. I feel like, guys, don't bet, right? Trust me, you're never gonna win. But Tottenham have this, But Tottenham have this thing about just in certain games, it's just offensively, it just goes missing. And to me, that is where it's gonna let Son down, because you guys also have the ability to score 6 goals in the game. Son may score 4 in the game. Like, remember the game against Southampton, or in the middle of Conte's start at Tottenham, where you went Villa, you won 4-0, you won 4-0 and 4-0, and then you went on a barren spell, and then you went 4-4-4 again. So you have that ability too. It's a consistency throughout the season that to me will let you down.
Going off that barren spell, I think the barren spell was a trademark Tottenham spell, I would like to call it. It was a spell that we saw under Nuno. It was a spell that we saw under Jose towards his end of his tenure there. And I feel like Conte adopted it. It wasn't a Conte problem. It was a problem that he adopted. I feel like now that he's had a pre-season to get his ideas and philosophy down to a T, because that's what he needs. He always says he needs that pre-season. I feel like we're not going to see too many barren spells from Tottenham, especially the way that they go forward. If it's not Son, it's Kane. If it's not Kane, it's Kulusevski. And if it's not Kulusevski, it's Richarlison. And then you just look at the wing backs. I mean, Perisic.
Okay, listen. This is not a video about telling me how great Tottenham are. I look at seriously. We're gonna go on about Tottenham for ages, but looking at like other options here, and I gotta look at this from this point of view. Let's really talk about the main elephant in the room. We mentioned about Son. The main elephant, well, to me, there's two main elephants in the room. The guy who, to me, is always going to be in it every single year. He's mainly finishing top 2, top 3, and that's Mo Salah. You just can't write this guy up. I get it, Darwin Núñez came in, and he will score goals. Don't get it twisted. I know people are 50-50 against him. He's going to score goals. Yeah. But Liverpool's goals will always come. Majority of the goals will always come from their main man, Mo Salah, without a doubt. He's for the past 5 years. He's been in the race. He's won 3 golden boots. I think he has the chance to tie Thierry Henry this year. Him and Harry Kane could do that, which is nuts. Yeah. We got to, as much as you feel about, people may feel about him, you got to appreciate what Mo Salah's been doing.
Oh, for sure.
The second guy you have to mention here, and to me, he's probably the betting favourite is Erling Haaland.
Yeah, 3-1 favourite nearly across all markets, yeah.
Almost unstoppable, and it's hard to look past him. It's not just the fact that he's a goal scorer; it's the team he joined. Like, Jack, honest to God, you guys think right now that is Erling Haaland going to score less than 20 goals?
Well, that's why I'm setting the over/under, because I do think that there might be a little bit. We see it with Pep all the time. Pep is not signing Erling Haaland and just going, oh yeah, mate, just you go do your thing. No, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a process. Now, he's good enough where that learning curve might be pretty quick, but I'm still telling you, this is not just him jumping into Dortmund and just being told, hey man, you do whatever the hell you want. You know, he's playing for Pep Guardiola. You know, he's not just going to be allowed, they're not just going to take the reins off immediately and just say, hey man, you just go. So I still think, to me, I would if I'm setting the market, I would set the over/under at like 19.5 goals. That would be where I'd sit it.
I'm gonna do this. So the record was set by Mo Salah for most goals scored in a single Premier League season was 32 or like 34 over a 38 game span. In my opinion, that record is in danger. You just go back and just watch the game against Bayern Munich.
In his first season.
Jack, it's not. This guy is a bona fide goal scorer. And we're not talking about a guy who's to create his own chances here, Jack. Watch the goal against Bayern Munich. It's a simple ball flashes across the box, be the first one there. If anybody can,
and the amount of times that Man City do that.
Yeah, they do it all the time. But James, I don't think he's my pick, just so we can, I guess, get my pick out of the way now as well. I'm picking Haaland too. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm picking Erling Haaland as well. But breaking Premier League records in your first year, I just think that's a bit of a step too far. It's just little too much.
What people don't seem to understand about the game of football, Jack, in my eyes, to a certain point, the game's broken. 30 isn't a lot. I'll be truthfully honest with you right now. With the way Ronaldo and Messi have messed up the game for us, 30 isn't a lot. I get it. People talk about the Premier League, but Man City and Liverpool have scored over 100 goals in the past 4 seasons. I think 3 of them they've bagged over 100 plus. Like, that is, these guys are capable of breaking these crazy records. And an individual like Erling Haaland, who was so goal hungry, and with the way this Manchester City play, trust me, if Mikey was playing in this Manchester City team, Mikey's getting double digits, just back post every single time.
But that speaks to Mikey's talent, though. Let's be honest.
But again,
James knows.
But is there any other options for you? Because
I was going to say, I just want to sprinkle in a couple of names, James. I'll let you kind of come in at the end if you got like a wild card horse. Cristiano Ronaldo still plays in this league. Now he dipped his toe in the water a little bit last season. Did really well. Was third or fourth, right? I think top goal scorer in the Premier League in a really poor Manchester United team. You'd imagine Manchester United are going to be much better now. If he comes back in, is there any danger of Mr. CR7 hitting the top of the charts for this one, or what are we thinking?
Again, I look at Ten Hag and the way he plays as a striker. You love it. You look at. I'll give you a fantastic example. Sebastian Haller at West Ham didn't flourish. He didn't.
Right.
It just wasn't there. He then goes to Ajax, Jack, and he scores 11 goals in 6 games, Jack. He equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's group stage record goal tally.
Nuts.
Like, if you're a striker, you want to play in this sort of free-flowing system where there's chances going to be created. And if there's chances created, the greatest goal scorer in the history of football is there to score. You'll find it hard to bet against. The only problem with Ronaldo is that, again, the age. Will he be there? Will he play every single game? Because I think in certain away games, the style might be a bit different for him, and you may see him come off the bench and question, will he be there in the first place?
Mikey, what do you reckon? Ronaldo's chances as a top scorer?
It depends if he stays, like James has said, but I think if he can see past the problems that he has at the minute with United, and if Ten Hag can let him be the number 9, I think he can easily be the top goal scorer. I think the guy is still, even though he's lost a yard, he's lost that explosiveness that we all love about Ronaldo, I still think he's the best header of the ball in world football.
Yeah, greatest header of all time.
And I think he's the most clinical finisher in the game. Yeah. Still. Currently.
Can still leap out of the gym. I don't know about his agility and top level speed, but he can still outjump anybody in the league, I bet.
I think if you give him a chance, he scores it 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So if they can create just double the chances they gave him last season, I think he can easily be in the top 3.
So I would
definitely say he's a candidate.
So I just want to finish up here, and James, hopefully I'm covering one of the names you're gonna bring up. If not, we'll hit that at the end. Greater chance to win Premier League top goal scorer, or maybe even to crack top 3. Gabriel Jesus, Darwin Nunez. James, what do you reckon?
I'm gonna say,
because that's tough. I'm not gonna lie, that's tough.
Jack, that's
not easy, is it? Because Nunez can come in and just clean house, but I think we've seen already with Jesus what he can potentially do.
Nunez will probably get more chances, and to me, he's a better all finisher and goal scorer than him. But I just feel with the amount of you may see games where Nunez won't play. While I think Gabriel Jesus is guaranteed to play week in and week out.
Got you.
So I'm just going to say Gabriel Jesus. I look at it and I still think both players should be aiming towards the 15 plus goals in the Premier League this season for each. But I feel the fact that one's going to be the out and out main man, while the other one is going to have to be second, and maybe a second fiddle to Mo Salah, as in offensively. I'm just going to say the fact Gabriel Jesus. Again, I've high hopes with Gabriel Jesus this year. In my opinion, he has a chance to be the Premier League top goal scorer, because this is the first time that he's been given an opportunity to be the man as the number 9. Jack, let's be truthfully honest.
Yeah.
He scores the hat-trick for Manchester City. He'll start one game and then the next game he'll be back on the bench. But that's just Manchester City. Right. Now you're in a system right now where you're guaranteed to play week in and week out, and the confidence in the belief that you get from knowing that you're gonna want to believe that you can score more goals. So for me, I think that he has a chance to be Premier League top goal scorer.
What do you reckon, Mikey? If you had to kind of hitch your jump on the bandwagon of Darwin Nunez or Gabriel Jesus for top goal scorer, who would you pick out of those two?
Purely based on the fact that one's going to play as a striker the whole time and the others might play in 3 or 4 different positions. I think Nunez will score more based on the fact that he's just going to play as a number 9. Whereas Jesus, and Arteta's already said it, can play as a right wing, left wing, and as a centre forward. And I honestly don't think that he'll play every single game as a number 9 for Arsenal. I think that Eddie Nketiah, they're not going to sign him up on a 100k deal and not play him.
Why do you keep on bringing up this 100k? He just constantly brings it up.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's a bad allocation of funds.
if he's stealing 100k, James, I wonder what you could get if you went to the Premier League. You know,
James, you might be a 180k player there.
Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. I think I could. If at least listen, I'll be humble. I think I can get at least 5 to 10k in the Premier League. Listen,
I mean, well, at Arsenal, maybe 20. You know, they're just handing them out, man.
James, if you got James and Mikey, I guess I'll kind of open it up to the floor here a little bit. Any other names you think little wild card hit? Like, are we dropping in like somebody like a Jamie Vardy? Does Mitrovic get a shout? What do you reckon?
JB Vardy, without a shadow of a doubt,
Tony
will definitely be in there. No. Mitrovic.
I was kind of joking, but yeah.
I'm gonna give a name that for me they can hit 15 plus in the Premier League this year. Kai Havertz. Depending on what happens with Chelsea in like, will they sign a striker or not? Kai Havertz to me has shown a development that if he just get that bit of confidence and just hit the net once or twice, and Chelsea do create chances, Jack, and especially with the way Chelsea create chances from wide areas. Listen, the guy's actually a fantastic header of the ball. He's a phenomenal size, and he makes phenomenal runs into the box. He has a 15 plus goal mark with him, and especially in this Chelsea team who don't really have a prolific goal scorer there, he seems to be the one that could lead them. To me,
I think if you're trying to get good odds and you're trying to find a good value to somebody who might have a chance, who's not going to be an odds-on favourite, I look at 3 names. I look at Julian Alvarez. I think he's going to be a serious wild card. Seriously, I think Pep. You know, guys, Pep is smarter than anybody in football put together. I think Pep has stuff up his sleeve that we don't even know we don't know. You know what I mean? So to me, Julian Alvarez would be one. Anthony Martial's another one, and James and Mikey as well. Like Raheem Sterling. You know, Raheem Sterling is going to have to come in and do something for this Chelsea team. You know, with the failures of Lukaku last year, we know what the conversation is surrounding Timo Werner. You mentioned about Havertz's talent, but Sterling's going to be required to put some goals in for Chelsea this year, 100%.
I think
another one that we haven't mentioned, and like we spoke briefly.
I think there's two. I think there's two that I was going to bring up. One's a very outside chance, no one knows about him, and the other one, if he can stay fit, I think he easily scores 20 goals for this team. Callum Wilson. I think if he stays fit for Newcastle, I think he scores 20 goals easily because he is clinical. That's the one thing we know about him. He's always got an injury in him. And he still scored 10 plus goals for Newcastle when he missed half the season.
Yeah,
so I honestly believe that he's got 20 goals in him. But there's another guy that Nottingham Forest have just signed from the Bundesliga, Taiwo Iwanye. Nigerian striker, and I honestly believe that he's a big prospect for the Premier League. Definitely suits the profile that the Premier League is looking for. Big, strong, athletic. Can he finish? That's the question that everyone's going to be asking. Nottingham Forest are hoping he can. I think if he can get off to one of those quick starts, we've seen it before, looking at players like Michu. You know, when Swansea got promoted, if they ever start like that, you never know.
Yeah, true.
You know what? I love that. Another one that's going to mention that West Ham just signed is the Italian striker, Scamacca. Now, listen, he scored 16 in Serie A last year, which is not bad. But
for Sassuolo,
you know, I love his build. I love his play style. The question is to me is that I don't think the way he comes into the Premier League is going to be an issue. I feel like his style will suit the Premier League. My thing is if he can just get that prolificness going and he can just get them goals going right there, we can be looking at one of the signings of the season. Like
that's what this move was, mate. There's no denying it. He could have easily gone to a much bigger team and been a bench player very, very easily. But he's made the step and he's backed himself to join a team which he, this is football manager speak for you, but he's going to treat it as a stepping stone, right? He's going to show his talent at a lesser team. No disrespect, West Ham, but a lesser team, and then hopefully one of the really, really top dogs is going to come in for him and he's going to make a lot of money playing for one of these better teams. Like you said, he's got absolutely everything required, and I give him a lot of credit going to a situation that's not as easy. He could have easily gone to a PSG or something like that and just played as a backup, but good for him for trying to walk his own path and make a name for himself.
Yeah, to me, I'm a big fan of him. Mikey, what do you think about him?
I think it's a very good match for West Ham, considering who else they have up front. They needed a second striker. I think you can also see them playing with two strikers. They could play him and Antonio up front, because Antonio, with that pace and power, and Scamacca's build, that presence that he can bring, those are two players that can complement each other very well. And I feel like if Antonio can get off to one of those prolific runs that he gets off to, but remain consistent, he's also a player that needs to be mentioned, because he always gets off to a start, but then he always just slides away when the games start catching up to him. But now he's got a partner in crime. He won't have that pressure of playing too many games. So we can maybe see a different Mikel Antonio this season.
Yo, Mikey's totally right there, because I'm pretty sure like last season, start of the season, he was up there as one of the Premier League.
8 or 9.
Yeah, and like it was
first 15 games.
You know, and like it was rivaling Salah, and then it just went to a point of view. He just went dim and dim and dim.
Mm-hmm.
He had a big dry spell coming to the end where like they really needed goals, especially in the Europa League.
It was when the Europa League game started coming in, and he's obviously
traveling to Latvia.
Yeah, but he's had to then go. David Moyes has gone, well, we're gonna play Vlasic as number 9 in the league, and we're gonna play you in the Europa League because we want to win the Europa League. And now he's not got that problem.
I'm going to mention one name here, and I did say his teammate will score more than him, but he needs to be mentioned. It's Harry Kane. Like, to me, when you talk about who's going to be the Premier League goal scorer, the two names that to me should always stand. I know Erling Haaland, yes, but he's recent. The two names every single year that people was always 1 and 2, Salah and Kane. So I can't not mention Harry Kane's name because he's goals, you know, but
it's also, you know what I think though, mate? It's one of those things like, is it even worth talking about? Do you know what I mean? Because it's so, he's captain, he's leader, he's the main man, he's so consistent. There's nothing else that we need to say. Do you know what I mean? He's always going to be that guy. It's the same way we didn't massively touch on Salah too much, because again, you know exactly what you're going to get from him. That's why I'm so fascinated by, you know, the ones where it's like, oh, maybe, you never know, because there's always one who sneaks up there.
I feel like with Kane, like, because of the development in his own game, where he's become this guy who's one of the best passers in the league now, let alone one of the best finishers. He's creating so many goals now. You could see him breaking the assist record again if he felt like it this season.
Well, Thierry only owns that. Just.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's in danger.
The greatest Premier League striker.
It's in danger if Kane and Son can play 38 Premier League games together. You never know. But what I will say about Harry Kane is that we haven't seen a Harry Kane under Antonio Conte for a full season, and I feel like look what Antonio Conte does to prolific goal scorers. He makes them even better. Yeah. And I feel like Antonio Conte demands more goals from Harry Kane because he knows that he can score 20 plus.
Yeah,
and I feel like Harry Kane's minimum will be 20 plus this season.
I do feel like we're with, especially with Spurs, it does feel like we're entering a period where kind of all the chips are in the middle here. You know, I don't know how sustainable Conte as a coach is long term. Yeah. So it does feel like that Spurs are going to be in with a big one. Go ahead, James, real quick.
The one thing, and I'm probably going to finish up after this, is that I mentioned those two. I don't want to see a Premier League season where it's rather Kane or Salah are the two top goal scorers, or we have a split decision to find out who's going to be the top goal scorer. Because for the last 6 years, it's been either one of them or like a split decision between one of them being involved. I want to see a different winner this year. Rather, if it's Erling Haaland, Gabriel Jesus, somebody else stepping up and taking that mantle.
Yeah, I feel like what we've seen in the last few seasons is no one really touching 20 except for 1 or 2 players, right? I feel like this season I can see 5 players getting 20 goals.
That's why James. That's why your thing about like 30 or plus goal. I'm just like, man, like it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's capable of it, and he's my pick for top goal scorer, hands down. But man, that's a huge ask. I don't know. Comment section though. Sound off.
I agree.
You got 1 vote here for Son, and hey, I don't think James and I are going to disagree with that too heavily here from Mikey. You got 2 votes from me and James for Erling Haaland for I think quite obvious reasons. But guys, let me know Kane fans, Salah fans, anybody else who you feel like might be getting disrespected a little bit.
Arsenal fans.
Arsenal fans. Is Gabriel, is Jesus coming? Is your savior coming?
100k Eddie as well. Don't forget about him.
100k Eddie. Cristiano Ronaldo fans. Lest we forget. Any Man United fans who think Ronaldo's being slept on here. Martial even. Anyway, let us know. Drop a like on the video. If you're not subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. And until next time, we'll see you.